All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I want to welcome you to the first session. Thank you for coming. We'll get started with Leo Fillmore, a DevOps manager at Cort. He's going to talk about automating your deployments from dev to production using Chef Habitat and the On-Prem builder. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Hello, everybody. I was going to say, is this thing on, but it already is. So, yeah, I'm Leo Fillmore, DevOps manager of Cort. If anyone doesn't know who Cort is, the easiest thing is we do furniture. All over at many different places, events, hotels, military, apartments, you name it. We're also a Berkshire Hathaway company, and I'm going to tell you how we actually use the On-Prem builder in our environment. So at Cort, we are developer driven. So we have developers everywhere. Our main site is cort.com. If you haven't been to it, check it out. The front end of that entire site is using Habitat. We have a Node and Apache system running in the front end, and both of those were built using Habitat. So you guys have already read these two slides, so I'm actually going to skip through them and go straight to some of the tools that we use. We utilize Jira, Bitbucket, the Chef server, or Chef Infra now, Chef Automate, the On-Prem builder, Rundeck, and soon Bamboo. We're moving Bamboo in and start building some pipelines around that. So our process is, the Cort development process is developers, they work on their own workstations. Once they're done with their code, they push it up. And from there, we start our whole process of getting it from a dev system to a QA system to a production system. Well, actually, the way it usually works is it goes to dev, it goes to QA. QA realizes that the developers didn't do something right, so they kick it back down, and we start all over again. So here is the breakdown, kind of how it works. On developers, they develop the code on their local developer VMs. At Cort, we don't like people using their own workstations. We want them on your developer VM, because when they're on the own workstation, it breaks, we have to replace it and find out where all their stuff is. So they all use VMs, which we back up every single day. So they test all their code locally, push it to Git, and after that, that's where the real stuff starts. They pull their code down from Git in dev, and then the On-Prem, we have a builder box that builds all the Habitat packages up on their build server. And from there, that same build server pushes it into the proper dev channel. I'm actually going to show you guys in this video right here. This is actually one of the developers on one of my teams. So as you can see right there, we actually they're pulling the code down. Come on, there you go. So they're checking the services now. Right now, they're looking, just hit run. This is giving them what is actually running on these three boxes right now. And those show the current version of the packages on those boxes. They're choosing the branch that they want, has their feature sets in it. And within Rundeck, we pull, instead of them manually running stuff, we built a lot of jobs. That's what Rundeck does, just runs jobs. And we're running it on the builder box, it builds everything, and from there, it's actually really fast. So what's really interesting about in this process, it's cloning everything, and from after it clones everything, it's going to actually, we're using the command, the have package build command, which it builds it scrapes the old studio, builds a whole new session. It builds out the complete thing and actually very fast. And from there, let me slide forward. Right here, you can actually see. They're deploying the build package right now. Now what's happening right here, it's packaging it all up, and it's going to be pushed out. And the way we have it set up is the dev boxes are automatically looking at the on-prem builder. And once the packages get deployed, I apologize, I'm trying to find where in the video this goes. There we go. So they've done the Apache, now they're doing Node. And they usually like to watch, see how this go through. Developers love pushing buttons, but they also like to see where this stuff goes. All right. There, here we go. So once this completes, oh, there we go. Right there. They'll go back and check the status. There it is. So they're just going right here, double checking the status. Did it increase? So it automatically went and did it. And they didn't have to go to the developer box or do anything to get that done. So that's the biggest part of our deployment process is in dev. They do all the builds in dev. From that point on, everything is fast. So once developer is done and they decide to choose a package that they like, they'll promote it to a QA channel in our Habitat on-prem builder, which I'll show you here a little bit later. And QA then, through our Rundeck system that we set up, and that's kind of how they like it, they can choose the packages they want to promote from the QA, and they'll promote that to their QA channel, or they'll demote a package. And anything that gets promoted or demoted from each of the channels, the boxes, the supervisors are actually looking at those channels. And if they see a latest one, they'll pull those down. And PROD's the same way as well. This one is actually going to be a quicker one, which I do apologize for some odd reason. It shrank it. So here, our QA person, she's actually going through and promoting the package that she wants to promote into QA. So she's checking the version again. And this time, after she checks the version, instead of having to build anything, she's merely going to go to the next one and promote from a staging channel that dev put several packages and promote the package she wants to the QA channel. As you can see, there's a nice list of packages in there to choose from. And she'll do the same thing with the Node one as well. So I'm going to move on. Okay. So this one is PROD. PROD's the same thing. I'm just going to play this one. Oh. This is one of the guys on my DevOps team. He's actually doing several different things. This is actually the night of a deploy for our Cort.com site. And he's actually doing back-end stuff that's still using a legacy process, and he's doing front-end. And unfortunately, the front-end, because we're using Habitat, it's really fast. So it's done way before our old ways doing stuff goes. As you can see, he's checking the versions right here. And he's also doing back-end deploy at the same time. And so what happens here is, with PROD, he's looking at the QA, whatever QA is certified that's ready for PROD, he's promoting that package to the PROD channel. Now, we don't use the stable channel. It was a decision that we decided we want a specific channel for our PROD environments, simply because if we promoted everything to the stable channel, just had it looking at it, we didn't want accidents to happen. Our PROD channel, only specific systems can promote anything to a PROD system. We've locked everything down. So if it's in PROD, our PROD environments are only looking at the PROD channel. And we have another system that we're bringing online. It will only look at its PROD channel. So stables only for non-Cort packages. So all the standard core packages that are in the Habitat Builder, that's what's in stable. Anything that's built for an environment, for instance, this one, Cort.com, it only goes to a Cort.com channel that we've created. We also have another site, Cort Connect, that uses Habitat as well. It only has its PROD channel. So that was the PROD deploy. He's checking the versions right now to make sure everything updated. So they like to match version release. So I was already talking about the channels. The 5 channels that we currently are using is dev, staging, QA, and production. And there's also an unstable channel. That unstable channel is mostly used by QA folks if they see, or actually sometimes even a production. If there's a package that's what we call trash, we just throw it to unstable. That way, we don't want anything that's not something that we can't roll back to put in there. So what makes all of this possible is to have channel list package script, and I have the address to it right here. Unfortunately, I didn't build it, but it comes in handy. It allows us to run calls using the API stuff in the On-Prem builder to pull up all the different channels, what packages are in them, and it's actually a pretty phenomenal tool. Which, instead of, I was going to show you the video, but I have my laptop here, and I'm actually going to switch over to it really quick. Okay. So this is the script. What makes it pretty cool is currently these are all the packages that are in our QA channel. Which you guys can see right here. This particular channel is actually showing the node, which we have currently with the Habitat Builder. We currently have close to about 300 packages in there. Our developers, they build like crazy. And using that script gives us the capability to run stuff like this. So this is the HAB service that shows the service that are currently running. They're already up to like 15.5 on there. And that was in the dev channel, so I can actually run this. And it just pumps it all out. And from there, we usually dump that into a JSON file, and our Rundeck server can see that. We actually even have another piece where that script is ran, and our developers and some of the other development teams, they can actually look at all the packages that are being released, which they then tie those to their sprints and Jira stories and so forth. Switch back really quick. So the next piece is we have a simple Ruby script that literally takes that and parses it all out of what we want to put in the file. That's what goes on the Rundeck. That's what allows the developer to choose what they want. Which I've already showed you guys, and that's pretty much it. Anyone have any questions? One of the things I will say is, as of Tuesday, this process is getting deprecated, how we're doing it. As you saw on the earlier slide, beginning that we're bringing in Bamboo. With Bamboo and Jenkins, so a lot of the things that our developers like to do, they like to push buttons. We're actually eliminating to where the only buttons they're pushing are approvals or denials. And we're gonna have a pipeline that allows the developers, once they push all their stuff up, our CI process is going to automatically start building everything in dev. And then from there, QA, all they need to do is approve or deny what packages that they want to go to QA. And then there's an approval process for things that go to production as well. So the only thing that Rundeck will be used for is them being able to look at different things other than that. So, but all those different pieces will be hidden in the whole build process, or if they enable other features in the on-prem builder. Since I finished a lot quicker than I thought I would. Anyone have any questions for me?
So it looks like you have a pretty good handle on some of the challenges about making sure that your release looks very composable.
Mm-hmm.
So if you push the button and say, for example, it produces build 1, 2, 3, 4, and does it maintain that list of like a JSON file with the artifacts that went out? Like, what about if you wanted to rebuild?
Yes, so that's actually a good question. So anytime a build is done, he said yes. Anytime a build's done, and I will tell you this, in the beginning when I first, because when we can't use the cloud version of the on-prem builder, of the builder. We can, but we cannot push any of our code out there. That's just not gonna happen. So we have to use on-prem builder. And when I was putting together different pieces to make this work, because all my developers, that come to me and say, Leo, we want this is awesome, but I just want to push a button. I just want to write my code, push up I don't care how it gets to where it goes, I just want to see it working. So when they do their push their buttons, when I first made this, what's your issue talking about? I ran into that constantly. So now what happens is when the build runs, one, Habitat automatically generates a release number on the end. The versions that they have in there is inside that plan, there's actually, let me see if I can actually show you it. No, it's not on this one, so I cannot. There's a version text file, so when they're pushing their code up, for the front end systems, they actually adjust the versions themselves. So the version is in Git, so when it gets pulled down, it knows what version it is. Am I version 14.5, 15.1? For the longest time, they weren't changing those versions. So at one point in there, which you still guys probably seen in dev, we actually had version 7. They literally had 60 releases because they were not updating their versions. And we were getting upset about that. So they adjust it in their code themselves. When it builds, it sees that version, generates release based on that, and they keep building releases if they're not ready to change their version. It automatically does that. So in the builder, there's actually, when the job's run, when it's done, it turns around and says, okay, I'm done. Well, I need you to run this now. And it regenerates that JSON file based on what's in the channels. So it knows to look in, it builds a JSON file for QA, staging, dev, and prod. So it does all of them. Every time anything is ran and built, it automatically does it. And that was using this script right here, which one of the guys on my team write. It's actually a pretty good script. I think this one, they've updated a few things, so I think the lines have gotten, there's only like 3 lines in it now. But I left this one because this one gives you more information. Any other questions?
How many origins are you using in your on-prem?
Our on-prem builder, currently we have, the main one is Cort, then we have Cort Connect, so we got about 4 or 5.
How are you defining it?
Based on environments. So Cort is our main channel, main origin for the environment Cort. So only thing that goes into that is anything related to Cort. We have Cort Connect, and only anything related to that goes in there. Cort Events is going to be a new channel, a new origin that will show up. Only anything related to that. Anything that is basic and standard across all platforms is usually going to be in the core or somebody else's origin we pull down. I have my own origin because I build all kinds of stuff myself. I have one for PHP, which one of our new sites we're building refers back to that one. So I don't think there's a limit on how many origins you can put in there, but I would say if you're going to create an origin, I would say keep it specific to environments. We like to keep everything separated so you don't get mixed up. Because in the beginning, we did put a Cort Connect package in our Cort, and we ran into a problem with that because somehow someone decided that, well, I want that package, and it does not work in a Cort environment. It actually blew stuff up.
Before switching to Habitat, were you deploying with Chef Infra straight away? Like, what did things look like
Before Habitat.
this infrastructure?
So where everything looked before, we still use Chef. Chef right now, we're in a process of changing certain things around. Chef is used to deploy, when we spin up new systems, new Linux systems, whatever, Chef runs and rolls, sets it up, hardens it for our environment, everything. In the past, my team was spent their time in, oh, well, we need WebLogic, we need this, that. They built full-blown cookbooks that would go through and install all of that automatically, actually not including the front end for our new Cort.com. That we decided, let's do this, and we'll roll back to everything else. So everything was just installed by Chef, completely. When Habitat came out, we were looking for a better way to do it. And this helped a whole lot because now we built with this, and now front end, if we need, right now we have 3 nodes running Habitat for each of our environments for the front end. If I get a call today and they say, hey, we need 2 more systems spun up, we're getting a lot of load, we could do that. And we'll run an extra one on there. But this also allows us to move right into using containers. Because at Cort, we don't currently use containers or anything. Well, I lied. We do now. So a lot of the next phase of what we're doing is our front end is actually going to still be running with Habitat, except they're going to be exported into Kubernetes and it's just automatic and go right into that. And then the next phase is our entire back end. WebLogic, you name it, it's all going to the same way. Pipeline, Chef sets up the box. Our packaging for the application is going to be current habitized, and then that's going to be moved into Kubernetes. We have a new project that I'm working on we have an application that's Magento. I don't know if you guys know what Magento is. Well, we're using Magento Commerce for one of our other sites that we're rebuilding. And I've completely habitized that package. And next week I'll be making it public because it's nothing in its custom, like specific to our company. So I'm allowed to let people see it now. So that I'll be pushing out there. But it's a fully habitized Magento, which we'll be exporting that, running in Docker as well. So now we like it doing it this way. One, it allowed me to go to my big boss and say, I want to bring in containers. And then my other little boss said, no, it's too much work. And then I said, well, I've already done this. And he goes, okay, let's bring it in. And it's a little bit more going back and forth. But that's how we're doing it. So now we're on the push that we want to put as much of our applications as we can into habitizing it. The main reason is it's portability. Even if we don't go to Docker, Kubernetes, or whatever, we can export it to Mezios, whatever, or we can just move it around wherever we want. We have data centers in Austin and Colorado. We need to move stuff around. And this gives us the flexibility to do that.
Two-part question. First, how much expertise existed at Cort in terms of habitat when you began this build, and how long did it take to achieve this result?
So, how much expertise was at Cort? None. I learned about habitat 2 years ago when they were at ChefConf in Austin, my hometown. And I was looking for ways to improve our environment and stabilize it, move forward. And I was introduced to habitat at that time. And I was not sure of it. I was actually looking at habitat, introduced to habitat while trying to figure out why does everybody keep talking about containers and everything else? And I was trying to figure that out. What helped was learning about habitat. I'm like, well, we use Chef now. Let me see what this habitat is. So within the first week or so, I had a test application up and running. And that test application was a simple Apache. Didn't do nothing. I didn't understand how certain things. I'm like, well, how'd that get there? How'd that get there? So it was trial and error. Basically, I did a whole lot of typing and saw what stuck. And then I also got on Slack and I asked a lot of questions. And I got some answers, and then some I figured it out on my own. But it's been a bumpy road, but not too bumpy. I got a lot of help from folks. And the beauty that I liked about it is the developers, one, they actually love Chef. We actually were a puppet shop. And then when I came on board, I slowly started migrating them because one of the things I kept hearing was, we hate Puppet, it doesn't work right for us. Switch to Chef, and now they're saying, we love Chef, we love Chef. What else are you doing? And I have to be mum's word. But the cat's out of the bag at the office. They know that the entire front end is running on this thing called Habitat. And some of the executives have already starting to look it up. What is it doing? Why does our front end move so fast? How come every other piece of the application may go down, yet that still works? And if one breaks, it just comes right back up. And like, how did you do that? And I'm like, well, Habitat. It just works. No. But yeah, from where we are to now, it is amazing. And Cort.com was the first real test of us taking a system that we were going to just be in dev, mess around with, full tilt to production. It is live, it's in production, it gets load, it's awesome, it's amazing. Inside the application, we have app dynamics running, checking stuff on it, which that was actually a joy and a nightmare to get working. inside the habitat packaging. But other than that, if you haven't started doing it, I say do it. It's awesome. Any other questions?
Two parts as well. What is Rundeck, and how did you integrate it into Habitat?
So,
Or Habitat into it?
okay, so Rundeck is a tool that is, I guess you'd call it a job running tool. What we like to call it, it's what we send our developers and help desk people to use if we don't want them actually getting on our boxes to do anything. And it gives us a lot of flexibility to do a lot of stuff. Rundeck is currently integrated with Chef, which it allows it, literally, you can go and search for a node that's in Chef and you can see everything. And you can tell it to run different things. But basically, it's a job. It runs job. You create a job, you run it. It connects to the box remotely, runs the job for you. And in the instance of Habitat, we're using the API stuff. In the back end, it generates JSON files. It looks at find certain things. And that's all it's doing. We are very, since I took over at Cort as a DevOps manager, we're very, we like to be transparent. We don't like our developers not knowing, even though most of them just want to push the button. If something's not working right for them, we don't want them coming back to us, what's this doing, what's this doing? Or having uniqueness generators. That's what we call something unique, that's very unique. No one knows what it does, or, hey, well, that does this. I opened it up, and it's going all over the place. Our developers now can go to Rundeck, click it, expand it. Oh, it's just doing this. And they know exactly what it's doing. No problem. Any other questions?
Do you guys have any plans to do like automated rebuilds based on like downstream dependencies?
There's a lot of plans that we have coming up, but we're all about automating everything. So there'll be things that'll be rebuilding. If this happens, rebuild that. If this doesn't happen, redo this. So yes, I can't go into detail because I just don't know how we're going to do all that. But unfortunately, I'm one of the guys who has to decide on all that stuff. Go ahead.
So in your on-prem builder, how are you keeping up to date with the changes in the core packages from Chef?
So that usually, since our team builds a lot, it gets updated, like because, I'm needing this new package, and next thing you know, I'm wondering what's going on. Oh, it's downloading a whole bunch of new crap into it, because we're always doing searches on that, and if you guys have used the on-prem builder, there are, one of the things that I like to see improved with it is it pulled down packages a lot quicker. In our case, because we only build once in dev, that's not an issue in QA and PROD. In dev, and we have things locked down as well, because they're building, all they care about is their code. So anytime when I'm ready to update a new version of Apache, which my compliance guy come and say, hey, there's an issue with this version, you need to update anything that's using this. So we'll go in there, update the versions, either of Node, Apache, or any of the packages that we need. Once we update those, we ourselves, on one of our developer boxes that we have, we will actually be running those build jobs. And as soon as we run those build jobs, if it requires something new, that's when we'll see the pull start to happen, which it's pretty good. Usually if it sees a new package and it's not on the box, it fails. Then wait about 5 minutes, oh, it's there now, and it moves on. Every now and then we'll find one that for some odd reason it skipped to a higher version, and we're like, well, we want that other version, not that version. And that is the only caveat I have. But I found workarounds for that. If we need a specific version, I rebuild my own, that's what we did with PHP. We took the core PHP and I rebuilt it. Any other questions?
When you're promoting the Habitat packages to different environments, did you guys have any downtime during the promotion?
No. Any downtime for our front end happens because we make it. One of the things that we had happen to us, well, actually, let me back up a little bit. Promoting from dev to QA to prod, we won't see any downtime because we did have in QA and prod set to do the leadership strategy. Our QA team said, oh, that's great, but we don't like it. It takes too long. We like what happens in dev. Dev builds a package, it goes to dev channel, and before that they realize it, everything's already up and running. So we switched it to all 3 other front ends. They're just at once. As soon as they see something new, boom, I get it. And what we found is it changes very quickly, still doing what they want. So they're literally on their computer. No downtime. It just updated already. Awesome. They moved on. It does that with our production as well. Now, however, in production, when they do promote, we do take the system to a maintenance page because our main site, our main site deals with credit cards, sessions, and we found that even though there's no downtime, if there was someone connected, that session's been reset. So we take it to maintenance page, and then once the front end's completely done, which 5 minutes or so, we'll bring it back online. Any other questions? I think I got about 5 minutes. Any more? Oh, right there. No questions? Okay. Oh, there you go.
So, with automation makes sense in building the package.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have automation in the deployment of that package in QA and prod?
Yes, and doing more so. For us, the automation is we need to get from, you said QA to prod, right? So it's a matter of them pushing a button and basically what you're seeing there, but it's going to change, approving. So if our QA has a package that's ready for production, they're going to put up, hey, we approve this package for production. And then the operations team, one of my team members, like, okay, I see the package you approved on deploy night, that they're going to hit a button and let it go. It's basically sitting in hold, let me do the final approval and let it go. We can remove that gate, which we're still talking about not having that, and we did have that between dev and QA for a while, and for us it became a disaster because dev, they build things very quickly and they build it, oh, hey, this is good, and then they're promoting to QA. Well, what was happening was dev thinks a package is ready for QA, they promote it, and it goes up, QA still validating a different one. Now their QA environment just changed on them. So that's why we put a gate. Dev, keep doing what you're doing, have fun with it, blow it up if you want. But if you have a package you feel that's ready for QA, they don't promote to QA anymore, they just promote to a staging channel. That gives QA the ability to move as fast or slow as they want. And all they care about is we want to choose a package that goes out on QA. We don't want it to automatically come. Now, once we choose, have it be fully automated. And that's what they want. So now what you saw there is going to change to where we have 2 QA managers. They're going to sit there and approve what packages that they want to go into QA. I think I have time for what? One more? Oh, more. Yes. The plan is at Cort, and it's going to take a little time, is to habitize everything that we can. If it's something that we have built ourselves, internal, we're going to habitize it. So yes, there is plans. Our backend for Cort.com, actually there's several backends. The main backend is WebLogic. So there are plans to do that. There's WebLogic, then we also have Angular and a few other things as well. And then we also have Solar. So yes, we will be habitizing all of it. And then exporting it into Docker containers. Any other questions? He's telling me I have 5 minutes left. Nope. Well, there aren't any more questions. I want to say thanks. There's my email address, my Twitter. If you guys want to shoot me an email or tweet at me, I'm also in some of the Slack channels as well. So you can message me. I think I'm in the Habitat one, the Chef one, and a few others. So I'm always open, ask questions, because I'm going to ask you questions too. Thanks.